The most dangerous person in your financial life is not the tax collector or the dishonest banker. It is the person who shares your current struggle but lacks your future vision. Most people believe that poverty is a lack of money. This is a mathematical error. Poverty is a state of mind protected by a social circle. Solomon, the wealthiest man in human history, understood this. He did not merely accumulate gold. He accumulated a specific type of person around him. He understood that wealth is a quiet consequence of specific associations. He also understood that certain rules of wealth must remain hidden from those who are committed to remaining poor. This is not about being unkind. It is about being strategic. If you share a seed with someone who only knows how to eat and never how to plant, you both starve. The ancient world called this the law of the closed mouth. It is the realization that your words create your environment. If you speak of wealth building to those who value consumption, they will not applaud you. They will attempt to pull you back into the comfort of the struggle. This is why the truly wealthy often seem quiet or even secretive. They are not hiding money. They are protecting their momentum. They understand a truth that survives 3,000 years of economic change. You cannot build a palace using the advice of those who live in ruins. This is not an opinion. It is a law of nature. There are two types of people in every economy. The first type sees a dollar as a tool for today. They look at a currency note and see a meal, a pair of shoes, or a momentary escape from boredom. They are driven by the immediate pressure of the senses. For them, money is a fleeting guest that must be spent before it disappears. The second type sees a dollar as a soldier for tomorrow. They look at that same currency note and see a worker. They understand that every dollar saved and invested is a servant that works while they sleep. One person is a consumer. The other is a steward. The consumer is always tired because they must work for every penny they spend. The steward is increasingly rested because their money begins to do the heavy lifting for them. The difference between these two paths is not found in the size of their paycheck. It is found in the direction of their gaze. The consumer looks at the store window. The steward looks at the balance sheet. One path leads to a lifetime of hidden anxiety and public show. The other leads to a lifetime of public simplicity and hidden power. You must decide which identity you will claim. You cannot be both. You cannot value the opinion of the broke and the results of the wealthy at the same time. One must be sacrificed for the other. Proverbs 13:20 states that whoever walks with the wise becomes wise, but the companion of fools will suffer harm. Solomon wrote this during a period of unprecedented national prosperity. He did not say that you should hate those who are struggling. He said that your proximity determines your destination. The Hebrew word used for companion implies a deep, grazing fellowship. It suggests the way sheep eat together in a field. If you graze in the same field as those who consume everything they touch, you will eventually find yourself hungry. Solomon repeats this idea throughout his writings. He emphasizes that wealth is a byproduct of wisdom, and wisdom is a social contagion. You catch it from those who have it. You lose it among those who lack it. In modern terms, this means your net worth is an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is not a metaphor. It is a literal observation of human behavior. We mirror the spending habits, the risk tolerance, and the work ethic of our immediate circle. If your friends celebrate debt, you will view debt as normal. If your friends celebrate investment, you will view investment as necessary. The principle survives because human nature does not change. We are tribal creatures. We want to fit in. If fitting in requires being broke, most people will choose to be broke rather than be alone. The psychological weight of this choice is immense. When you decide to follow ancient wisdom, you create a silent rift between yourself and your past. Money is never just math. It is emotion. It is security. It is ego. When you stop spending money to impress people who are not going to your destination, you feel a strange form of loneliness. This is the price of freedom. Most people are trapped in a cycle of reactive spending because they are trying to solve an internal feeling of inadequacy with an external purchase. They buy things they do not need with money they do not have to impress people they do not like. This creates a state of chronic high-beta stress. Your nervous system is always on edge because your lifestyle is a fragile glass house. One missed paycheck or one minor emergency shatters the illusion. This stress narrows your vision. You cannot think about 10 years from now when you are worried about 10 days from now. Wealthy thinking requires a low-stress environment. It requires the ability to be bored. It requires the ability to wait. The ancient rule of silence exists to protect this psychological space. If you tell a friend who is struggling that you are saving half your income, they will call you cheap. They will try to convince you to live a little. They are not trying to hurt you. They are trying to justify their own choices. Modern masters of wealth validate this ancient caution. Charlie Munger, the late partner of Warren Buffett, often spoke about the power of inversion. He taught that to get what you want, you must first study what you do not want and avoid it. If you want to be wealthy, study the habits of the chronically broke and do the opposite. Munger spent decades pointing out that the world is full of people who are brilliantly smart but financially ruined because they cannot control their associations or their impulses. He called this avoiding standard stupidities. Solomon called it avoiding the path of the fool. Same truth, different century. Benjamin Graham, the father of value investing, taught the principle of the margin of safety. He insisted that you must always have a buffer between your reality and your expectations. This is the modern version of the biblical storehouse. Solomon taught that the wise man saves for the future, but the foolish man spends whatever he gets. Graham applied this to the stock market, but the psychological root is identical. It is the discipline of saying no to a good thing today so you can say yes to a great thing tomorrow. These men did not find a new way to build wealth. They simply rediscovered the ancient foundations and gave them modern names. Imagine a sudden economic shift. A business sector collapses and a company announces massive layoffs. Two friends work at this company. They have the same salary and the same tenure. Friend A has lived by the modern standard. He has the newest car, a large mortgage, and no savings. He has shared every financial move with his social circle, seeking their approval. Friend B has followed the ancient rule. He drives an older car, lives in a modest home, and has kept his growing investment accounts a secret. When the layoff comes, the outcomes are not just different, they are opposites. Friend A is in a state of immediate terror. Within 30 days, his life begins to unravel. He loses his dignity because he must beg for extensions. He loses his peace because his house is no longer a home, but a liability. Friend B is calm. He has a storehouse. He has months, perhaps years, of breathing room. He does not need to take the first job offered to him. He can wait for the right opportunity. He might even use this time to buy assets that are now on sale because people like Friend A are forced to sell them. Same crisis, different preparation. This is not luck. This is the difference between building on sand and building on rock. The path to building a generational legacy is governed by a few simple, non-negotiable rules. First, you must give. The ancient tradition of the tithe or the first fruits is not about the money. It is about breaking the spirit of greed. It teaches your brain that you are a steward, not an owner. If you cannot give away 10% of your income, you do not own your money. Your money owns you. Second, you must live on less than you earn. This sounds simple, but it is the hardest rule to follow in a consumer culture. You must create a gap between your income and your lifestyle. That gap is where your freedom lives. Third, you must never borrow for things that lose value. Debt is a thief of the future. It allows you to enjoy tomorrow's labor today, but it leaves you exhausted tomorrow. Fourth, you must invest in productive assets. Solomon spoke of planting fields before building a house. In modern terms, this means building a business or an investment portfolio before buying a luxury home or car. Put your money where it grows before you put it where it goes. Finally, you must guard your tongue. Do not discuss your financial goals with people who have no financial discipline. Their skepticism is a poison that will slow your progress. This journey is not about the accumulation of paper or gold. It is about the character you build while you are being disciplined. Wealth is a test of the soul. It reveals who you are when you no longer have to work for survival. If you are a person of integrity, wealth will make you a greater blessing. If you are a person of vanity, wealth will make you a greater fool. You are not powerless in this process. You are not a victim of the economy or your upbringing. You are a collection of choices. Every time you choose to save instead of spend, you are voting for your future self. Every time you choose to stay silent about your progress, you are protecting your momentum. The path is narrow and few find it, but the gate is open to anyone willing to walk it. You are building something that will outlive you. You are creating a legacy that will provide shade for your children and your children's children. This is a noble pursuit. It requires patience. It requires grit. But it offers a peace that the world cannot give and the economy cannot take away. This is the Solomon Code. It is the realization that wisdom is the principal thing. Get wisdom, and with all you're getting, get understanding. Everything else is just a matter of time. This is not complicated. It is merely difficult. You are not chasing a number on a screen. You are chasing the ability to be useful to others without being a burden to anyone. You are reclaiming the freedom that was intended for you. The difference between the person you are and the person you want to be is found in what you do with your resources when no one is watching. Stop seeking the validation of the broke. Start seeking the wisdom of the ages. You are a builder, you are a steward, you are a person of vision. The question is not whether the principles work. They have worked for 3 millennia. The question is whether you will work the principles. Close your heart to the noise of the crowd. Open your mind to the discipline of the wise. Take a deep breath. Release the need to be understood by everyone. Focus on the few things that matter. Your future is not a mystery. It is a harvest of the seeds you plant today. Go in peace. Walk in wisdom. Remember that the secret of the rich is not what they have, but what they think. The wealth you build in private will eventually become visible to the world. By then, it will be too late for anyone to stop you. Consider the nature of a secret. In our modern world, we are taught that transparency is always a virtue. We are encouraged to share our lives, our meals, and our bank accounts on digital platforms. But ancient wisdom suggests that power resides in what is hidden. When Solomon constructed the temple in Jerusalem, the most valuable items were placed in the inner sanctum. They were not for public display. This is a profound financial metaphor. Your growing wealth is the inner sanctum of your family's future. If you open the doors to those who do not respect the sanctuary, they will trample the progress you have made. Broke friends often view your success as an indictment of their failure. Because they feel judged by your discipline, they will unconsciously seek to sabotage it. They will invite you to expensive dinners. They will mock your modest car. They will question why you work so hard while they are resting. This is not because they are evil. It is because your light makes their darkness visible. By staying silent, you remove the friction. You allow them to remain comfortable in their choices while you become unstoppable in yours. Silence is not deception. Silence is stewardship. It is the boundary that allows the garden of your wealth to grow without being trampled by those who do not value the harvest. The weight of poverty is more than a lack of funds. It is a heavy atmosphere of complaint and blame. If you listen to the conversations of those who never get ahead, you will hear a consistent theme. They blame the government. They blame their employer. They blame their luck. They never blame their habits. If you share your wealth-building strategies with this group, they will find reasons why those strategies cannot work for them. They will say the market is rigged. They will say you were lucky. They will suck the energy out of your ambition. This is why you must seek the counsel of those who have already achieved what you desire. Solomon sat with kings. He exchanged gifts with the Queen of Sheba. He sought peers who understood the weight of responsibility. In our time, this means reading the books of the masters. It means attending seminars where the speakers have skin in the game. It means finding a mentor who will tell you the hard truth rather than a friend who will tell you a comforting lie. The difference between these two types of connection determines your trajectory. One tethers you to the past, the other pulls you into the future. You cannot have both. You must let go of the hand of the one who is drowning if you are to reach the shore and throw them a rope. There is a specific kind of freedom that comes from being the only person who knows how much you have. Most people are addicted to the feeling of being perceived as wealthy. They want the status. They want the look. But the truly wise want the substance. They enjoy the quiet confidence of knowing their family is secure. They enjoy the ability to give anonymously and change a life without receiving a thank you note. This level of maturity is rare. It requires a death of the ego. It requires you to be okay with being the least impressive person in the room. This is the psychological barrier that stops most people from ever becoming truly wealthy. They cannot bear the thought of their broke friends thinking they are also broke. They would rather be broke and look rich than be rich and look broke. Solomon warns against this vanity in the book of Ecclesiastes. He calls it a striving after wind. It is an exhausting, endless race that no one wins. The ancient rule of silence breaks this cycle. When you stop sharing your financial details, you stop caring about the financial opinions of others. You become immune to their judgment. You become focused on the mathematics of legacy rather than the optics of status. This is where true power begins. Think about the concept of the third generation. There is a common proverb found in many cultures that says, wealth rarely survives 3 generations. The first generation builds it. The second generation manages it. The third generation spends it. This happens because the second and third generations often inherit the money without inheriting the wisdom. They grow up around the appearance of wealth, but are never taught the silence and discipline that created it. To break this curse, you must teach your children the ancient rules. You must teach them that money is a secret to be guarded and a tool to be used, not a status to be flaunted. You must show them that the greatest wealth is found in the things that money cannot buy, which allows them to handle the things that money can buy with a steady hand. If you teach your children to talk about their money, you are teaching them to be targets. If you teach them to be silent about their money, you are teaching them to be stewards. This is how you build a dynasty. You build it on a foundation of quiet strength and internal values that do not fluctuate with the stock market or the social trends of the day. The system we live in is designed to keep you in a state of perpetual desire. Every advertisement, every social media feed, and every credit card offer is a lure. They are designed to hook your impatience and pull you into a life of servitude. They want you to share your life so they can sell you a better one. The ancient rule is your only defense. By refusing to participate in the culture of display, you become invisible to the hunters. You move through the economy like a ghost, accumulating assets while everyone else is accumulating toys. This is the invisible wealth that creates true change. It is the capital that starts businesses, funds, missions, and builds communities. It is the wealth that Solomon described as a crown to the wise. Notice that he did not say it was a showpiece for the foolish. A crown is a symbol of authority and responsibility. It is meant to be worn with dignity, not used to mock those without one. This is the heart of the Solomon Wealth Code. It is about becoming a person who can be trusted with much because they have proven they are disciplined with little. It is about a life that is deep rather than wide. As you move forward, expect resistance. Your transformation will make people uncomfortable. Those who have known you as a consumer will not understand your sudden transition into a steward. They will call you boring. They will call you stingy. They will try to pull you back into the old conversations about debt and desire. Stay the course. Your silence is your shield. You do not owe anyone an explanation for your discipline. You do not need to justify your freedom. The results will eventually speak for themselves, but by the time they do, you will no longer need the approval of those you left behind. You are walking a path that has been trodden by the wisest men and women for thousands of years. It is a path of peace. It is a path of purpose. It is a path that leads to a legacy that will bless people you will never meet. This is the ultimate goal of the builder: to plant trees under whose shade you will never sit. This requires a level of unselfishness that the broke mindset cannot comprehend. It is the highest form of financial maturity. The rules remain the same. The principles are unchanging. The only variable is your will. You have the knowledge. You have the blueprints. You have the warnings. The next decision you make with your money will be a testimony of your identity. Will you be a companion of fools, or will you walk with the wise? Will you be a servant to the lender, or a master of your destiny? The choice is yours. Every day, every dollar, every conversation, you are building a temple or a tomb. Build with wisdom. Build with silence. Build for the generations to come. The world has enough loud, broke people. It needs quiet, wealthy stewards. Be the exception. Be the builder. Be the one who broke the cycle. This is the work. It is quiet work. It is slow work. But it is the only work that lasts. Picture a bridge. On one side is the life you have known, defined by the pressures of the present and the opinions of the crowd. On the other side is a life of sovereignty, defined by the wisdom of the past and the security of the future. The bridge is narrow. It is built of discipline, silence, and patience. Most people start to cross it but turn back when they realize they cannot take their broke friends with them. They choose the company of the crowd over the freedom of the shore. You must be different. You must be willing to walk the bridge alone if necessary, knowing that you are making the path safer for those who follow your lead. This is not about abandonment. It is about leadership. You cannot lead people to a place you have never been. You cannot give what you do not have. By becoming wealthy and wise, you become a beacon. You show what is possible when a human being submits their finances to timeless laws. You become a living proof of the Solomon Code. When you look at your bank account, do not see numbers, see options. See the ability to say no to things that compromise your values. See the ability to say yes to things that expand the kingdom of God on earth. This is the true meaning of freedom. It is not the ability to buy anything you want. It is the ability to do what you were created to do without the interference of financial lack. This is why Solomon was so focused on wisdom. He knew that money without wisdom is a curse, but wisdom with money is a tool for transformation. Guard this tool. Do not let it be blunted by the criticism of those who do not understand its purpose. Keep your plans to yourself until they are so established that they cannot be moved. Let your character be your loudest statement. Let your generosity be your greatest secret. Let your legacy be your final word. This journey is a marathon, not a sprint. The culture of get-rich-quick is a trap that has destroyed more fortunes than the stock market ever has. Impatience is the father of debt, and debt is the mother of slavery. By choosing the ancient path, you are choosing the long way. It is the slow way, but it is the only way that leads to a destination worth reaching. Do not be discouraged by the speed of those who are taking shortcuts. Their houses are built on sand, and the storm is coming. Your house is being built stone by stone, on the bedrock of truth. It may take longer to finish, but when the rains fall and the floods rise, your house will stand. This is the promise of the wise. This is the assurance of the steward. You are not just saving money. You are saving your family's future. You are not just investing capital. You are investing in eternity. The system will continue to scream. The crowd will continue to mock. The broken will continue to complain. But you will be at peace. You will have the quiet confidence of a man who knows the end of the story. You will have the stability of a woman who has anchored her life in something deeper than the current trends. You are a part of a lineage of wisdom that stretches back to the beginning of time. You are walking in the footsteps of giants. Do not look down. Do not look back. Look forward, to the generations that will call you blessed because you had the courage to be different. You are not alone on this path, even if it feels like it. You are surrounded by the cloud of witnesses who also chose wisdom over vanity. They are cheering you on. They are waiting for you at the finish line. The rules are simple. Follow them. The path is clear. Walk it. The reward is certain. Claim it. This is not complicated. This is stewardship. This is responsibility. This is the Solomon Wealth Code. You are not powerless. You are not trapped. You are making choices. Every choice compounds. Every decision creates trajectory. The question is not whether you can do this. The question is whether you will. You are a builder of legacy. You are a steward of the king. You are a person of the code. The kingdom you build in your mind produces the wealth you hold in your hands. Close your eyes for a moment. Reflect on the conversations you have had this week. Think about the energy you have absorbed from those around you. If you have been speaking the language of lack, forgive yourself. If you have been seeking approval from the wrong sources, let it go. Ask for the wisdom to know when to speak and when to remain silent. Ask for the strength to be disciplined when the world is being reckless. Commit yourself to the path of the steward. Protect your generational legacy from the erosion of the crowd. This is a holy task. It is a work of faith. Walk in peace. Walk in wisdom. Remember that the borrower is servant to the lender, but the wise man inherits glory. Go now and build. Build quietly. Build surely. Build for forever. Amen. Would you like me to develop a script for another title, perhaps focusing on the rule of thirds or the psychology of the storehouse?